Hi, this is Sean Cleary, Customer Success Manager with Sage People, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can use the Sage People system to track and report on absences that are related to the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. The configuration guide that I'm going to be following today can be found here in the COVID-19 hub of the customer community. Once you're in the COVID-19 hub, you can visit the COVID-19 collaboration group and scroll down to the file section where you can find this document titled U.S. Absence Configuration for FFCRA. This document shows you how to configure your system, giving two options. First is if you are not currently tracking FMLA in the system, we are going to set up an accrual rule to be able to apply to those absences related to the FFCRA. And the second option is if you are currently tracking FMLA in the system, we're going to show how you can differentiate between a traditional FMLA absence and a supplemental FFCRA absence. So now we're in our system. The first thing we're going to do is go for assuming option one, that you are not currently tracking FMLA, we're going to navigate to our absence accrual patterns tab. We're going to determine which absence accrual pattern this rule will apply to. For me, it's going to be US generic. And we're going to create a new absence accrual rule. We're going to apply the reason FFCRA family leave. And we're going to copy that for use in another step coming up. We're going to leave all other defaults here because this is simply just applying a label to the absence type. Once we've created that rule, we're going to re-enter that record to give it a seniority to tell the system when to start applying this rule to those eligible team members. In this case, our seniority is going to apply immediately, so we're going to keep the seniority as 0 and keep all other defaults. Once we've created that, we need to navigate to the setup portion of our system, which will bring us here, our setup homepage, and we're going to go to the Object Manager tab, which is by default is available to you at the top toolbar. We want the absence object, and we're going to go to our fields and relationships list. Here, we want to add a pick list value to the reason pick list field. So we can type in reason in the quick find here to find our reason field. And we're simply going to add a new value and paste in the name of the rule that we just created. Apply it to the absence record types and save. Once that is complete, you're done with option one, and I will show you how that will work when your team members go to the WX to create a new absence. When they're in the WX and creating a new absence, they will now have that pick list reason as a absence type available to them. If they create an absence with that FFCRA family leave reason, it will then display within the WX calendar as such, and you are able to report on those absences. You can see here it shows as a pending FFCRA family leave. That is all for option one, so we'll move on to option two, assuming you are currently tracking FMLA within your system. If that is true, we are going to go straight to the setup portion of your system to create a new field. So we are already here on our absence object, and we are going to go to the fields and relationships to create a new field. This will be a pick list field, and we're going to title this FMLA type. We're going to enter our values, which are going to be traditional FMLA or supplemental FFCRA. Now we are going to create a field set in order to tell the system where to display this information within the WX. So we'll navigate to the field set still on our absence object to create a new field set. And this will be titled simply FMLA type field set. And we can type the same here. And we're simply going to add the field that we just created to this field set and save. Once we've created that, we want to take this API name and copy it for use in the next step. So now that we have that, we're going to go to the absence accrual pattern that your FMLA rule applies to, which is the US generic for me. Find our absence accrual rule for FMLA. And we're just going to go to the additional field set field to tell this rule to look at this field set when displaying in the FMLA, when displaying in the WX. Once we save that and create a new absence within WX, choose FMLA. On the next screen, we now have the option to choose our FMLA type, whether that be traditional FMLA or supplemental FFCRA. And that will also display in the calendar with that label. All right. Next is we're going to show you configuration on how you can track the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act absences. For this, we want to start out in our absence accrual patterns and create a new rule within our US generic pattern or whatever pattern applies to you. And this is where they're allowed 80 hours of sick leave. So we're going to set this up a little bit differently. This is going to have the reason of FFCRA sick. It's going to have a base date of the beginning of the year when this rule is enacted. We are going to get a little bit ahead of ourselves. Here's a spoiler, but we are going to be creating a new field set. So we're going to go ahead and just type this here so we don't have to navigate back to this record after we create that field set. Our reset day is going to be the 1st of January. Rate accrued per year. Our pro rata setup is going to be front loaded. And in our display options, we are not going to show carryover. We are not going to show time in lieu. We're not going to show year pro rata, but we are going to show the accrual log, accrual total, accrued balance, and rate per year. Save that. And again, we'll need to enter that record and apply a seniority. So this seniority is going to stay at 0, but is going to have a rate of 80 hours. All right, our rule and seniority are set up, so we can now navigate to our setup menu, back to our object manager, to the absence object. First thing we're going to do is create another pick list value on that reason field. This time I'm just going to scroll down to find my reason field. Create a new value. Title it FFCRA sick. Again, apply that to the absence record type and save. We will also need to create a new field to indicate the reason, whether this reason is going to be for ourselves or for our family. So we are going to choose a pick list field. Title it FFCRA sick reason. Enter our values, which is going to be self or family. That way we can tell the system if we're taking this absence related to ourselves being sick or if we are taking care of a family member. Save that, and again, we'll need to create a field set. And since we cheated in the first step of creating the rule, we can just type the FFCRA field set label, and that will already apply in the rule since we added to the additional field set in the first steps. Within this field set, we're just going to add the FFCRA sick reason field that we just created and save. Now, when your employee creates a new absence that is related to the FFCRA sick leave, similar to how the FMLA setup works, they will have the option here on the second page to choose the reason, whether that be self or family. And now your calendar will display that type. Thank you. I hope you found this beneficial. And if you need any other questions, please reach out. If you have any other questions, please reach out to your customer success manager. Thank you.